They just don't make doors like they used to.
Because it was really easy to make both the top and the bottom 10 episodes list for the first season of He-Man, it should come as no surprise that there is a huge abundance of both good and bad episodes. Today I'll be talking about 3 really bad episodes, which you will remember as the dishonorable mentions from my bottom 10 list: The Defection, The Starchild, and It's Not My Fault. Each of these episodes is poor in their own special way, so I decided to take a look at each of them and dissect what's wrong with them. Let's start with The Defection. Sibylline the Sorceress is fed up working for an evil demon guy named Gorgon and decides to devote her efforts to doing good. She escapes from Gorgon's fortress and goes to Palace Eternos. The Defection tries its best to be an episode that teaches kids that you shouldn't judge people by their previous bad decisions and that you should give them a chance to redeem themselves if they truly seem to be willing to change their ways. In order to get the message through, of course, one of the main cast has to be on Sibylline's case all through the episode. And who should it be? Orko?
And besides, people don't change. The weather changes, not people.
No way, I am not letting this slide. You mean to tell me that the scriptwriters took the most lovable character from the whole cast and decided that he should play the role of the prejudiced dick in this episode?
People are what they are. The good stay good, and the evil are always evil.
That's what I hate about this sort of episodes. If one person's distrust in another is at least somehow justifiable by their normal behavior, then I can accept that. But Orko? The same guy who actually shook hands with fucking Jeremy after he said this?
Jeremy, this is Man-at-Arms.
Don't you have a real name?
My friends call me Duncan.
That's not much better.
The Defection is one of those episodes that was done with good intentions in mind, but it just doesn't rise to the occasion. Gorgon is a super annoying villain, with Alan Oppenheimer doing that annoying screechy voice again.
Great! I love flying dragons!
And his personal army is just really stupid looking, on top of which I seem to detect a distracting amount of Beastman stock footage tracing all through the episode. Funny enough, Evil Lyn is in this episode as well. I guess with Gorgon needing a magic-using assistant with tits in his fold, she decided to make a little extra on the side while working for Skeletor. It's really the worst kind of cameo for a series regular villain, where she doesn't actually get to do anything interesting, plus the animation is a bit sucky in this episode, I have to be honest. Maybe because The Defection has a good message at heart, I didn't really want to put it on the bottom 10, but it did come pretty darn close. Next up, The Starchild, which is an interesting episode already from the point of view that it doesn't even have a villain in its story. That alone would actually make it very interesting, but unfortunately it again falls really short in its execution. The story has to do with 2 factions, the Tree People and the Cave People, fighting over the Starchild. He-Man overhears the argument and saves Starchild when she falls into a hole. In order to solve the differences between the Tree and Cave People, He-Man takes the Starchild to the palace. There she becomes so fed up with their fighting that she uses her magic powers to put out all the lights in the palace. She then reveals that she has the power to make people like her, and this is why the Cave and Tree People are fighting over her. She also thinks that they want her magic powers because they intend to use it for their own ends. However, in the end, it turns out both sides just want to take care of the Starchild, and that their arguing has simply been because of a misunderstanding. The plot of this episode would have a lot of promise, but this is probably the first time that the character designs made me dislike the episode more than the sloppy animation. Any way you look at it, The Starchild is essentially an episode where grown men in tights are fighting over a little girl in a leotard. That's just not a pleasant sight, and it sounds more disturbing than it really is.
Easy.
Because of that, I tend to refer to this as the gay custody battle episode, because really, that's all it's about. I like to stress though that it's purely for the character designs and the complete lack of anything interesting happening in the episode that makes it so poor. The Cave and Tree People even tried to bribe and brown nose to Teela and Man-at-Arms so that they would favor them in deciding who the Starchild should live with. But they never follow up on this in the end, which just makes it a red herring element. If you look at the story, it's actually pretty good, and I even like the Starchild as a character. Probably one of the best child characters from the whole show, but it's because the director completely pisses over the episode's execution why it's an episode you can skip without feeling you missed much. Finally, it's not my fault. Even the title of this episode sounds lazy, and it's probably one of the single most pointless He-Man episodes I can think of. Firstly, let's introduce the leading figures who kick the story into motion, Orko and Pody. Pody is the daughter of the leader of the Jungle Tribe and runs away when she and Orko accidentally break one of Duncan's machines while playing a game. And by the way, she's voiced by Erica Scheimer, who did the voice of Jeremy.
Man-at-Arms is my father's friend. If he gets mad at me, I'll be in big trouble.
It's weird hearing that same voice coming out of a girl, but at least Pody isn't a stupid little prick like Jeremy. However, she does manage to get herself and Orko captured by the one-off villain of this episode, some douchebag named Rhaego, who needs Pody to steal a pair of magical balls for him. Now, I don't mind John Irwin voicing some of the villains, but Rhaego sounds absolutely pathetic.
My victory over all Eternia!
Add to this his stupid Viking hat and the mechanical rhino he rides around in, and you've probably got one of the most stupid one-off villains in He-Man. Some of the dialogue again seems to indicate that this was actually yet another Tarzan episode script recycled for He-Man, like The Tale of Two Cities. That in itself wouldn't be too bad. After all, they at least bumped up the amount of series regular characters considerably with Duncan, Orko, and Teela being in this episode, but at the same time, they didn't really do anything special. In fact, all that happens is that He-Man breaks the mechanical rhino and all the bad guys get captured. No, seriously, that's the whole story of this episode. One thing where you can clearly see that a He-Man episode is struggling with limited material is when they grab for time, with camera pans and characters staring at each other. It's an old trick, and repeated a lot in both Western and Japanese cartoons. You see it a lot in He-Man, but you can also see when an episode director actually manages to pace the episode so that the panning shot isn't dragging the episode out and can actually work well in creating atmosphere. The episode Like Father, Like Daughter is a good example of this. It's Not My Fault does the complete opposite. It has several scenes of characters seemingly just running around after each other, not really doing anything except killing screen time. And what's funny is that they actually kill so much of it that by the time the good guys put the magic balls back in their place, this is how much time they devote to this momentous climax. A grand total of 5 seconds. Wonderful. So there you have it. 3 horrible He-Man episodes, sloppy execution, bad animation, bad utilization of series regular characters, lame or stupid one-off characters, and grabbing for time when you have nothing to show to the audience. Until next time, I have the power, so can you.